This is KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are from the Riverside Theatre upcoming production of The Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams. Say hi to Stephen Marzolf. And hi, Stephen.
Hello.
And Jody Hovland, who's been here many times from
Good
Riverside
morning,
Theatre.
Dennis.
Jody, nice to see you. This is your first season post executive director. Well, not total first season. Artistic director. I mean, yes.
Yeah.
So,
and I am what I always wanted to be, just an actor. So it's delightful to be at Riverside as an actor and to be apart now from the day-to-day. It's terrific.
You and Ron hit the road and had a little vacation, I know, earlier in the fall.
We took a slow drive to California, and then Ron stayed there to direct a play at a friend's theater. And we're having a great time. And
you're back playing the role of Amanda in The Glass Menagerie, and we'll talk about that. Stephen, you've been to Riverside before. Matter of fact, you were in this past summer's Cyrano, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. As Cyrano.
As Cyrano.
And that was a rollicking, I remember.
Nose and all.
Nose and all. I remember that. That was, you kind of took the, 35-person cast and drilled it down to what? 8 or something ridiculous?
Five people.
Yeah, ridiculous like that. Well, welcome back, and cool to have you back as a director. Tell me just a little bit. We're talking off air. Of course, Tennessee Williams, there's a cool Iowa City connection. You're staging this just a couple of blocks from where Tennessee Williams lived.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
When he was in the Iowa Writers Workshop. But of course, everybody knows The Glass Menagerie, although I would imagine that the number of people who've actually seen The Glass Menagerie versus those who have claimed to have seen it or read it, there's probably a little bit of a divergence there. But Stephen, talk to me a little bit about trying to bring, new life to this very, very famous, iconic play.
Well, actually, Jody and I were just talking about this. In some ways, it kind of reminds me of Shakespeare. It's dusty old classic, right? I'm not going to understand it. It's going to be boring. It's drama. And yes, it is drama. But I think one of the things to keep in mind with it is that the play is not only incredibly poignant, but it's really funny. And I think that's one of the things in order to make it accessible for people, because the fear with a play like that is you're going to be at arm's length, right? You're not going to be invested in it. It's old. It's all of these things.
People talk funny. They'll use weird
that's
words.
Right. I think the character of the gentleman caller at one time says the word jalopy. It kind of reminds me of Leave It to Beaver a little bit, But it's incredibly personal, I think, because it's the struggle that this family has. And in particular, Amanda trying to find a suitable husband, a gentleman caller, for her very, very shy and slightly crippled daughter, Laura. But I think that finding sort of the balance between the humor in it and also the poignancy makes it really accessible. On top of that, it's a non-naturalistic play, and what I mean by that is it's not sort of box set. We stay in time for 2 hours, and it encompasses that 2 hours. This goes in and out of time, because you have the character of Tom, who is the son of Amanda, but also the narrator of the play looking back on his life. And so he actually is able to control and manipulate, which is incredibly theatrical and in some ways draws the audience in more.
Talking with Stephen and Jody about The Glass Menagerie, which is coming up at Riverside Theatre. We'll talk tickets and showtimes in just a minute. Have you played this role before, Jody?
I have not.
Okay.
It's been on my list. I directed the play years ago when we produced at Old Brick in 1990, actually. It was our last production before we moved to Gilbert Street, and have always loved the play. And so it's just pure joy to be on the inside of it this time around and to be taking on this big character.
Well, playing off what Stephen said about the challenges in taking this iconic play and making it more relatable, I guess, to a modern audience without pandering, of course.
Yeah.
Were there any little tricks or anything that you did or anything that you saw to kind of have little shortcuts to make those connections?
Well, I think you always, as an actor, looking for the deepest humanity in a character that you can discover. And Amanda is full of contradictions, which is delicious for an actor. She is one of the fiercest characters I've ever played. Fierce and passionate. She desperately loves these children and truly wishes for their happiness and success. And on a very practical level, she's desperately trying to just keep things together as a poor woman without a partner in this venture, of raising the family. Her desperation and her fierceness sometimes also makes her foolish, and she's excessive and theatrical, and that's where some of the fun of her comes in too. But she's all heart, really, and that, I think, is my entry point for her.
Was there anything unexpected? You say you've seen the show, you've directed the show, but now digging in and being one of the characters, what surprised you?
She just never shuts up. I guess that was, I hadn't realized that.
All those lines.
She not only talks a lot, but she talks fast. And we were talking in the dressing room one night, the young woman playing Laura and I said, it's like getting on the fast train every night and just, hanging on for dear life. And then knowing that the next night you get on the same train and go again.
It's one thing with Amanda. She talks a lot, but she talks in stories, is the majority of her language. And that is a very specific person that constantly recounts their past and talks in stories to communicate to people. So, in addition to everything Jody said, I mean, she loves being a storyteller.
Well, and we all know people like that.
Oh yeah.
And it's either really fascinating or painfully boring.
Well, and Tom and Laura certainly indicate that, this story again. This is not the first time we've heard this. I should mention that this is the 11th co-production Riverside has taken on with Cornell
that's right.
College.
So you have Cornell students involved in this.
Well, we have one. We have many in technical and some design assistant positions, and then a young woman playing Laura, Catherine Backer, who's really lovely. But we began this program in 1996, and on an every other year basis have produced just some really wonderful shows. Tartuffe, The Laramie Project, The Cripple of Inishmaan, brand new plays as well. Birth Witches was our last one a couple of years ago. And so this is the most recent in a series, and it's always a really exciting partnership for us.
Well, you open next week.
We do.
November 6th, and run through, looks like, the weekend before Thanksgiving, I think?
Yes, we do, through the 22nd.
All right.
Yeah.
If people want tickets, how do they get them?
Well,
I know, Jody, you're not full-time at the theater anymore, but I'll bet you remember the website and the phone number.
This is 338-7672 at the box office, 319, of course, and the website is riversidetheatre.org. And it will open on a Friday with an opening night reception afterwards. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the first weekend, and then the next 2 weekends, Thursday through Sunday. All evenings are at 7:30, and our Sunday matinees are now at 3 p.m.
Jody and Stephen from Riverside Theatre and the Glass Menagerie, which opens next week. Again, riversidetheatre.org. Good luck with the show. Thanks so much for stopping by today.
And I want to mention Jim Van Valen is playing Tom. He's fabulous. And Aaron Weiner, our third professional actor, playing the gentleman caller.
All right. Thanks again for being here today.
Thank you.